Hello everyone, my name is Alyan and I am today here again with my special guest Mr. Joe. So, hello sir, how are you?
I'm good. Too blessed to be stressed. I'm good.
Amazing sir. Okay, so first of all, I am very thankful to you for giving me a precious time for interview.
Oh, thank you for thanking me. I appreciate being appreciated.
Thank you so much sir. Okay, so before moving on the question, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Joe Nicassio. I'm a business coach, consultant, advisor, mentor, Sherpa, whatever you want to help, whatever you want to call me. I help people create a better business, whether it's profits or sales or a lot of it's process oriented. When you improve your process, you improve your results.
Wonderful, sir. It's amazing. Okay, so my first question in your screen: can you tell us about your background and how you become a profitable business at this?
Well, it's been a long journey. I didn't, when I was growing up, I loved playing in electronics. It was electrical engineering background. My first job was repairing stereos and televisions, electronic type devices, and gosh, it's been a long journey. How did I end up here? I used to troubleshoot high tech electronics. Now I troubleshoot businesses and business owners and business processes. I would say probably, I made a million in technology. I lost everything. And uh, so I made a decision. I never wanted to fail big like I did again. And so I really started learning about business. And I did most of it for my own healing. And at some point, I realized I could help a lot of people because almost everything you've learned about business is a big fat lie, and um, so uh, I just realized that so many people are missing, pieces to the business puzzle, and uh, and I guess just to answer the question is I started coaching people who are making 3 or 5 or 700,000 a year that wanted to go to 1 or 2 or 3 million a year, and I still help that group of people, but I kept running into people that said, "Well, I don't make that kind of money. I have a job and I hate it. I want to start my business and I don't know how." And so there's a crowd of people starting for help to start a business from the beginning. They don't really teach this stuff in the school system. They really don't. They teach us to go to school and get a good education and be someone else's slave. And I didn't really like that philosophy. And so I would say two of the pieces is if I'm going to help you leave the job you hate, let's build a business that you truly love. And if I'm going to help you build, if I'm going to help you leave the job you hate, let's not build a business that fails like 9 out of 10 too. So I decided to figure out the reasons why people fail and why people succeed, and create a process where people have a high opportunity to succeed without the traditional failure.
Wonderful, sir. Okay, so my next question in your screen: what inspired you to specialize in helping business become profitable?
When I was working with Jay Abraham, I made a million, lost everything, and I had a mentor, a guy named Jay Abraham, who's like the $30 billion man. I got blessed to have an amazing mentor, and I remember I was at a trade show, and there were all these booths of companies, and a lot of them were big companies, Fortune 50 companies, Fortune 500 companies, and there was medium companies and small companies at this trade show. And I had a list of the top 10 marketing mistakes that almost every business makes and how to overcome them. If you stop making the marketing mistakes, you actually have marketing multipliers. And I went around booth to booth at this trade show, and almost every booth, I would say 99% of the booths were making at least one or more of those mistakes. Like every business I look at is making marketing mistakes or business mistakes. And so that was a spot of inspiration where when I saw so many people making the mistakes and I could help them not make the mistakes, like a switch flipped in my head. The inspiration was just this awareness that I could help a lot of people. And from that moment on, I made a decision. I am no longer a technology person. I am now a marketing consultant, business consultant, because I saw that so many people are making mistakes, then I can help so many of them not make those mistakes and turn things around.
Amazing, sir. Wonderful. Okay, so my next question in your screen: how do you define a profitable business in today context?
Well, profitable business is pretty easy to define. It's one that brings in more than it spends. If you make $1 million and you only spend $999,000, you're still profitable. Okay, profits is when income exceeds expenses. I think so many businesses they spend money on stupid stuff. Okay, they spend money on things that don't help the bottom line. Also, I think a lot of people when it says, "Oh, I need to be more profitable," they go into straight up cost cutting mode. And yes, you want to stop spending money on crap that doesn't work. You want to stop spending money on stupid things. On the one hand, um, but if you really want to grow your business, you're not going to do it by cost cutting. You're going to do it by bringing more revenue in, getting more customers to pay you more money more often. And so a profitable business is simply one that, you know, brings in more than it spends. You're if you bring in $50,000 in a year and you only spend $5,000, you have $45,000 profit. But you could have a $10 million business, and if you're spending income, but if you have 11 million expenses, you're on a path to failure. So profitable is not about millions and millions. It's about spending, earning more than you spend.
Okay, all right, sir. Okay, so my next question is, what are the what are the key challenges business often face in becoming profitable, and how do you address them?
Well, there's a lot of them. I think I've got a list of at least 60 reasons smart people fail in business. Okay, um, I think we listen to the wrong people. We never take advice from people more messed up than you. That's always a mistake. Um, I think a lot of people are majoring in minor things. They put a lot of energy in things that don't move the needle. I think that a lot of people, um, I think, I think that, gosh, there's a lot of ways people mess up a business. Challenges in being profitable. Um, yeah, like quit majoring in minor things, major in major things. I think that one of the mistakes that people make is, they try and chase every opportunity that comes along. A man who chases two rabbits catches none. Okay. And so it's better to, would you rather have one business that does $10 million a year, or would you rather have 10 $1 million businesses? And I think it's a mistake to want 10 businesses. Why not do one thing well? If you've got 10 businesses, that means you have 10 sets of tax returns and 10 sets of employees and 10 sets of headaches. If you do one and you do it well and you build it on a solid foundation, one good business, well designed, well executed, is enough. And I think people, they fall in love with this idea of multiple streams of income, but they don't realize that there's multiple headaches that often comes with that. And so simplicity scales, complexity fails. And I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges people make, is they overcomplicate the process instead of keeping it very simple.
Great, sir. Wonderful. Okay, so can you share a success story or case study where you guidance lead to significant profit growth for a business?
Yeah, I got a bunch of them. Let's see. Fred Garnica had a security guard company called Security America. Um, he was working as a security guard for the Los Angeles Convention Center, but he started his own business. He found a company that had a electrical supply yard, and people were stealing copper wire. So he got this first contract, and he had it was him and one employee, and they paid him $3,000 a month to protect this yard. And he came to me and said, "Oh, I want more clients." And I said, "Okay." We talked about that, but I said, there's three ways to grow a business. One is to get clients, but the other is to get bigger transactions and more frequency of transaction from your existing clients. And he said, "Well, I want more customers." Okay, I said, "Well, humor me. Go to your one customer and ask, do you have more work for me?" Well, he did go to them, reluctantly. He was, he didn't really want to take my advice, but he did it. And um, in 30 days, they gave him 7 new yards at $3,000 per yard. And so his income went from $3,000 per month to $24,000 a month by simply asking that his one client that one question. That's a pretty good success story.
Great, sir. Very amazing. Okay. So, what strategies or methodologies do you employ when achieving profitable business?
Well, there's a lot of strategies, and I think that if the only tool is a hammer, you have a hammer, then you treat everything as if it was a nail. And so you got to you got to match the right strategy with the right person in the right business. Everybody should not be an internet business. If you wanted to get in front of electrical engineers, maybe the internet's not the right way to do it. You should go to the electrical engineering convention, the IEEE, Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. Maybe direct mail makes more sense. Maybe public relations campaign, getting in radio, magazines, newspaper, television. So it's practice to give a prescription without a proper diagnosis first. And so I think that, the strategies and tactics I would use with one business would be very different than the strategies and tactics I would use with another business, just because they're different businesses. Even if two people were in the same industry, if, say I was dealing with two plumbing companies, okay, well, they're two different owners and two different focuses. And so I may take one company and teach them how to improve their point of sales, and another company, they might need more help with how do they generate leads and customers. So everybody has different needs and everybody has different goals. And so the right strategy or methodology for one person might be a terrible strategy. Imagine I told you that the strategy for Alyan was to do public speaking. What if you're afraid of public speaking? Like, that would be a terrible strategy. So everybody's different, and everybody deserves a little bit of customization to make sure that what I recommend to you fits you like a glove. And it would be, unfortunately, there's a lot of business coaches and business consultants, and they're like, you got to do search engine optimization. Well, not necessarily. I think that that's what might be great for somebody else might be terrible for someone else. So was that.
Amazing, sir. Okay. So, how important is market research in developing profitable business model, and what method do you use for it?
Well, market research, I think, there's good market research and bad market research. Okay. If you get a bunch of people sitting around a table and say, if we come out with this new Xerox color copier, and it collates and it staples and it has beautiful images, how many of you would buy one? A lot of people will say, oh, I would buy one if you offered it. Okay, well, get out your checkbook. Okay, so the market research, um, is not the same as market testing. And like there's only one way to know if market research is going to work is, will you get out your credit card? Will you will you make a payment? Like there's, if I brought this product out, would you be interested in it? A lot of people say yes until it's time to actually cough up some money. And then all of a sudden they're all hiding because they don't want to come up with some money. Okay. One of the things that I've learned is don't waste your time with people that can't say yes. Alan Weiss, who's a mentor of mine, he teaches this idea of, you need to be mercenary about talking to economic buyers. Who is an economic buyer? Somebody that can cut you a check. There's a lot of people that can say, no, we'll never buy from you, but they never had the authority to cut me a check. So, you want to say, before we go too far, if this makes sense for you, can you cut me a check? If the answer is yes, we continue the conversation. If the answer is no, then it's like this meeting's over. Who can cut me a check and how do I get in front of them? Because I don't want to waste my time with people that can't say yes. They can only say no. So, there's only one market research, and that's called, are you willing to pay? Do you actually pull out your wallet and do you actually pay for it? Because everything else is just theory. So market testing, will you actually buy something is a lot more valid than a bunch of talking heads sitting around a table talking theoretical and not actually putting their money where their mouth is.
All right, sir. Amazing, wonderful. Okay, so could you explain the role of innovation and adoption in maintaining business profitability?
Well, Dr. Peter Drucker said that the purpose of a business is to, create a customer. And because its purpose is to create a customer, a business has two and only two functions: marketing and innovation. Marketing and innovation produce results. All the rest are costs. Innovating for innovation's sake is not the same as innovating to add more value to a customer who will actually pay for what you do. So there's innovating in your product, there's innovating in your service, and then there's innovating within your marketing. I think it's always a challenge, to take what's in my head, and put it into your head so that you understand and appreciate and desire the value of what I have to offer. And so, it's very important to innovate. I think it's important to adapt, but the most important part is innovating and adapting for the purpose of creating a customer. The biggest area of innovation is how can I give more value? How can I create more value from the people that will buy from me? And value is not what I think is value, it's what the customer thinks is value. If the customer doesn't think it's valuable, it's not valuable. If they think it's valuable, then they'll probably spend money and pay for it. So, innovation and adaptation is only useful to the extent that it helps you, number one, create a better product, and number two, create paying customers that will pay for that product.
Amazing, sir. Very nice. Okay, so what financial metrics or key performance indicator KPIs do you typically focus on when assessing a business?
Yeah, I think, the idea of key performance indicators is you don't need 100 different metrics. You just need a few metrics that make sense. So, um, how many customers do you have? What's the lifetime value of a customer? Um, how many leads do you generate? How many people are raising their hand? You know, you can measure qualitatively and you can measure quantitatively. It's a little bit more challenging to measure qualitatively, although anything you could on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think about this content or this video? So you can't always necessarily put a number to it, but you can also run that ad and it was okay. Well, how many leads did we generate? What was the cost per lead? What was the cost of acquiring a client? Those are important metrics. How many leads did we? How many appointments did we have this week? How many sales did we close? What's our, net and gross profit? Those are all important metrics. Also, how much time off did you have? It's not just about money. It's about, creating a life and a lifestyle. And so, you can't, if you're making a lot of money, that's a good metric. But if you don't have any free time to enjoy your money, I think that's an important metric also. How much time are you spending in your genius zone, versus doing mundane tasks? Those are all important metrics. So, I think the metrics change with each company, but are we bringing in customers? Are they buying from us? Are they spending money with us? And are they repeat customers? Another metric is how many referrals do you generate? If you're doing a good job with your customers, you should be asking them for referrals. And so if they're sharing you with a lot of their friends and family and colleagues, that's good. And if they're not, that's a metric that's concerning.
Okay, sir. All right. Amazing. So, can you share some common mistake that business make in their pursuit profitability?
Yeah, I would say the biggest mistake people make is there's a bunch of them, but sales is a numbers game. No, no, no. That's a mistake. If you treat people like a number, you deserve all the sales you don't get. Because when you treat people like a number, you're objectifying them. Sales is about relationships over revenue. Always connect at a human level before you connect at a business level. I'll tell you a big mistake people make. Um, um, is um, one of the mistakes that people make is, they send out a message. It's like, want my stuff, and that's just so wrong. We need to connect at a human level before we connect at a business level. You need to actually care about people. Here's a great equation. Credibility is the blend of expertise and humanity. In other words, if you have a lot of expertise, but you don't care about people, it lowers your credibility. And so that caring about people is an important piece to the business success puzzle.
Amazing, wonderful. Okay, sir. So, my last question in your screen, what advice do you have for startups or entrepreneurs looking to build a profitable business from the ground up?
Yeah, the most important thing is choosing the right business for you. I think that too many people chase the money instead of, chasing their passions. I created something called asset sculpting. And what is asset sculpting? It's like, if I was going to help Alyan make a business, first thing we would do is say, what is what are Alyan's assets? What are his skills? What are his talents? What are his abilities? What are his passions? Okay. And then I would sculpt those assets into an offer. Then you have what's called value sculpting. So asset sculpting is sculpting what you offer, and then value sculpting is sculpted to the needs of the marketplace that they see it as valuable. Okay. And so choosing your business wisely, it's like if you were going to build a building, would you start with the roof? No. Would you start with the foundation? No. You would start with a piece of land saying, what do I have to work with? And you'd have a vision, and then you would make some sketches, and then you would make a blueprint. And too many people start a business without a vision and without a blueprint. Even the poorest person can afford a superior plan. You get out your paper and you get out your pencil and you architect. Before you go into a construction phase, you always have an architecture phase. And unfortunately, too many people start a business. They don't choose their business wisely. They don't plan it from the ground up. They just start constructing something without a really solid plan. And I'm not talking about a business plan. I'm talking about a vision and understanding the value that you offer the marketplace and creating a business that's not focused on you just making money. It's focused on creating customers that understand and appreciate and desire to spend money with you because you offer a lot of value. So I think that's the number one thing, is choosing your business wisely.
Amazing, very nice, sir. Amazing answer, wonderful. So I am again very thankful to you, sir, for your valuable time and sharing your knowledge, sharing your experience with us. I hope everybody is learning something new with your speech, with your experience, and with your knowledge. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. God bless you.